The British actress Dame Helen Mirren has taken on an unusual role this week. She's testified before a US committee in Washington about the slow pace of restitution of Jewish art that was looted by the Nazis during the Holocaust. The Oscar-winning actress's evidence is based entirely on her own experience playing the part of a Jewish woman, Maria Altmann, who took the Austrian government to court to reclaim a famous painting by Gustav Klimt. Anne Barker reports.
The picture is my aunt, my mother's sister, married to my father's brother, Adele Bloch-Bauer.
Maria Altmann was an Austrian Jewish refugee who later settled in the US. It was her aunt, Adele Bloch-Bauer, who before World War II was the subject of a portrait by the famous Austrian painter Gustav Klimt, but the painting was later confiscated by the Nazis and then claimed by the Austrian State Gallery.
And there were 8 paintings, and she is the model for 2 of them.
Maria Altmann is now dead. That interview is several years old. But before she died, she fought for years in the US Supreme Court to have the Austrian government return the portrait and other Klimt paintings. And when her eventual success was made into a film, The Woman in Gold, it was Helen Mirren who played the part of Maria Altmann.
I'm a child of the Second World War. I was born in 1945, and the memory of the Second World War was very much a part of my history. But I never really, truly confronted the absolute reality of what had happened in those days.
Helen Mirren's research for the part gave her an insight into the slow pace of restitution of Jewish art like the Gustav Klimt portrait. Now the actress has given evidence before a US Senate subcommittee in Washington.
And in playing Maria Altmann, I had to put her memories into my mind. And to do that, I had to read a lot of research material and really relive those moments.
The Senate Judiciary Subcommittee is taking evidence as it examines draft laws to facilitate the return of stolen artwork by the Nazis. Dame Helen Mirren has told committee members the laws must be changed to return such art to its rightful owners.
It's a terribly sad fact that more than 70 years later, victims of the Holocaust and their families are still contemplating whether to seek restitution for what was stolen from them and lost under the most horrible of circumstances. But a lack of transparency, a lack of access to information concerning the location of stolen art, and a lack of a legal assurance that at least they can have their say in court. This discourages them from taking action.
Klimt's famous portrait was finally sold 10 years ago to a cosmetics magnate, Ronald Lauder, for $135 million, which at the time was the highest price ever paid for a painting. Ronald Lauder, who was also a former US ambassador to Austria, has also given evidence at the hearing.
Denying victims of the Holocaust and their families access to a just hearing based on the merits of each case is wrong, plain and simple.
One Senate committee member, Democrat Richard Blumenthal, said his own father had fled to the US to escape the Nazi regime, and he said despite the passage of decades, lawmakers have a duty to take action.
Financial recovery can never fully recover. The lives that were lost can never compensate for the unspeakable inhumanity and tragedy of the Holocaust, but it helps recognize at least the courage and strength of survivors.
That's US Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal ending that report from Anne Barker.